Martin of Gun Basics Philippines, and you made it to the last part, part 5 of our introduction to guns course. So, what do I do now? Right? You already learned recap over here. You learned about the intro, like what is our background with guns coming into this. We learned about gun safety. So, again, the most important lesson. We also learned how a gun works. So, how to load a gun, how to unload a gun, and how to safety check a gun. And then in the last or the previous part, we just learned why have a gun, right? What is the purpose or the reasons to have a gun? So, in this last part, part 5, we're going to learn about next steps. What do I do now, right? After I learned all of this. So, finishing this course, the next step is, since this is the video version, I would invite you to actually experience the live, meaning going to a shooting range, experiencing it in a live workshop. So I'm making this video, this home home edition of Introduction to Guns for the people who just want to learn, right? Maybe you don't have access to the range yet. You just want the information first. You just want to start somewhere. This is it. This is it for you. The next step that you can do is to actually go to a shooting range with an instructor or someone who can guide you. It can be me. Now, it can be anyone else, someone you trust, a firearms trainer, a group. And I created this course to actually just get you started. So, what are the next steps? Next step is you can actually become a gun owner after this. So if you feel like you are ready enough, you got all the information you needed, maybe you're already applying the lessons already and practicing it, then you can actually move to that next step of being a gun owner. To do this, my recommendation or tips is every year, usually there is a gun show, and it happens twice a year. In the past years, I've noticed the Defense and Sporting Arms Show. There are other gun shows or caravans out there, so you can take advantage. Why? They offer discounts 15, 20%, sometimes even bigger. So it's their way of marketing, or it's kind of like a gun bazaar. That's how I would say it. And I highly recommend that you take advantage of it. I mean this in the best way possible. These gun companies are trying to make sales, they're trying to hit their targets. And you can also just, choose the best deal that fits you. Again, after going through this course, doing your research, your due diligence, try out different guns if you can, and then one day you can become a gun owner. So you'll go through the license to own, possess firearms, and then when you buy a gun, usually the gun store will help you with the firearms registration. They can also assist you with requirements. So if you're a first timer, they will guide you with the license, requirements, etc. Next, some of you may not even want to be a gun owner after this, so you can just be an enthusiast. What does that mean? You don't actually have to buy or own a gun, so you can go to a shooting range. Some people just do it for fun, like how some people go to an archery range. They try it just a few times, maybe every year, but you don't have to buy your own bow or arrows necessarily. So it's okay to be an enthusiast. That's one other option you can go moving forward. The next is maybe some of you are gun owners already and you want to get into the sport or competitive shooting. So this is when you start looking up your gear, whatever division you're joining, whether it's standard, classic, those 1911 handgun, the pistol shooters. You could get into a revolver, so that has different gear, like the moon clips, stuff like that. You can get into PCC, so in more recent years, the pistol caliber carbine. It's like a rifle, but it uses handgun ammunition. So recoil is less, it's cheaper, more fun. And then there are different competition or competitive shooting divisions you can get into, shotgun, etc., like that. Another option you can do is you can join a gun club. So that's how I started actually learning more seriously. So in part one, in my intro, I mentioned Ernie Claudio, the founder of the CPPSA, the Center for Philippine Pro Shooters Association. And he taught me with his gun club structure, right? The lessons, the training. And he was a little more strict, but then I did appreciate that foundation. And then I just opened up into other areas, other interests, like the more of the civilian training, concealed carry, etc., like that. Got into kydex holsters, all these other stuff. So you can start with a gun club. That can also be an option for you. Next, you can also go into more advanced training. So aside from a gun club, if you don't even have a gun club of your own, you can sign up for firearms training, gun classes. Just like here in Gun Basics Philippines, you are not limited. There are other groups that I've trained with, like Tactical Applications Consulting, uh, MP Concepts. I also trained in Arms Corps when they offered their gun course or their gun classes, total gun ownership seminar, I believe. So I find it fun, especially if the organizer, the group is trustworthy, they're very customer service oriented, they give you a good experience. I highly recommend that. They're friendly, they're very supportive. And lastly, at the very least, what I want you to get out of this course is once you graduate, and you already are graduating, it's that you become a responsible gun owner or a responsible gun person. So, what does that mean? It's the mindset. Next time you see a gun somewhere, you already have the mindset of this. We went through it. The four rules of gun safety. So, when I pick up a gun, and I've done this over years, training, muscle memory, and I really believe it to the core. Again, why? It just teaches you and I how to not kill ourselves and how to not accidentally shoot someone else. That's why I believe it so much and I love it. So next time I see a gun, instead of fear, I have understanding. Again, I treat it like it's loaded, pointing it in a safe direction. I know how to safety check this. It's empty. You want to really double, triple check it, make sure it's unloaded, remove the magazine. Okay. I know how to make sure it's safe, set it down safely. So, to become a responsible gun owner, or even if you're not an owner of a gun, to become a responsible gun person, that is the graduation of this course. So, there's a line, one of my favorites, a quote. It's from Spider-Man, actually. With great power comes great responsibility. So Uncle Ben taught that to Peter Parker, to Spider-Man. And I truly believe that when it comes to guns. And this is something that you get out of this course. Wherever else that brings you moving forward, I wish you the best. This is Gun Basics Philippines, and thank you for graduating through the Introduction to Guns course.